guess what we talking about today? The V card. God damn. Boom. I think I was like probably, I would say 15. Yeah, I was about 15 when I lost my V card. Yeah. So naturally, I had this friend, my homeboy, whatever. Me and him was real. This was back when jerking was just started. Was into that jerking shit, you know. So you know, we hitting that hoe like. On my mama, that gout, this beat hit. On my mama, that gout, this beat hit. On my mama, that gout, this beat hit. And naturally, you know, I was way out of her league, straight up. Like, it was no chance in the world that I should have been doing anything with this girl. But for some odd reason, I'm over his house, whatever, we chilling, and we weren't really that close with his cousin or whatever. But for some reason, we was chilling up in her room, and we ended up having a conversation. She started asking us about us messing around with girls and stuff like that. And you know me, I'm like, shoot, I'll be honest, I ain't never really did nothing with no girl. 15, you know, high school, middle school, whatever. This pretty much what, 8th grade? Yeah, my 8th grade year. It was the end of 8th grade. It was starting the summer. So naturally, boom. Me and her get to talking about it, whatever. She was telling me about her first time or just her experiences or whatever. And I was a little curious, you know, to be honest. And shit, I figured she was too. So naturally, you know, we having a conversation. By the way, she was older than me. I'm 15, I think she was 16, going on 17, whatever.
Don't play with him! Yeah!
You know, her experiences was just like, she's experienced, you know? So I'm like, in my head, I'm like, okay, cool. She bad, I like her, but I'm knowing for a fact she wouldn't mess with me. So I'm like, alright, cool, whatever. So next thing I know, we get to talking about it, whatever, and we all laid up in the bed. But next thing I know, like, bro went to sleep. Like, my partner, he went to sleep with her. So me and her, we ended up, you know, kissing for a little second. And one thing led to another. She asked me if I had a condom. In my head, I'm like, I don't, but I know my boy got one. So I'm boom. She wake him up. When I go to the bathroom to go get the condom, whatever, she woke him up and kicked him out the room. So he go in his room and go to sleep. I come out the bathroom and go back in the room. So next thing I know, I'm like, all right, cool. I done went, put the condom on, bada boom, bada bang. And she laid me down, you know? I'm like, all right, cool. You know, she get kissing on me, whatever. And next thing I know, you know, the little thing, my thing got a little, you know, like, you know, type shit. So I'm like, all right, cool. We finna get the rolling for it, you know. So my shit rock solid. You feel me? Like Superman in this bitch. Like, so I'm like, all right, cool. So she get on top of me, right? Mind you, I don't know what I'm doing. Honest to God, truth. I know nothing of this. Nothing at all. Nathan. I know Nathan. So she gets on top of me, and I'm assuming my thing is supposed to go in her, but for some odd reason it don't. She pushes my shit towards my stomach, and you know, she get the, you know, caressing that bitch, you know, and I'm like, all right, cool. You know, I'm not knowing how this is supposed to go in the first place, so I'm like, all right, cool. It's acceptable, you know. Yeah. It's alright. So, you know me, I'm like, shoot, I don't know no better. So shoot, I proceed to try to, you know, stick that bit in. And now, mind you, I know nothing about what I'm doing. Nothing at all. Nathan. I know Nathan. So, I lift her up and I, you know, try to put that bit in. I try to put it in there. Now, I know nothing of what I'm doing. So in the midst of me trying to put it in, I kind of, you know, messed up a little bit. And that bit, you know, It's not fully going in. So of course I'm in my head like, okay, I don't like this little position. So boom, we switch. I got on the top. Now, I get on top. I'm in my head like I don't really know how this is supposed to go. I ain't never did this. So I slap that bitch. I slap it. And I put that little man down. I pushed it in there. And next thing I know, she get to screaming. I'm like, okay, I don't know how this supposed to go. So I'm like, is that a good thing or a bad thing? So I jumped out. Like, I'm like, nah, I ain't finna go in, So I asked her, I'm like, yo, are you okay? And she was like, yeah, again. So alright, boom. I, try to scoop that bitch in there. Now, she did it again. Like she screams, like, it's like she's screaming. Like, I'm like, bro, like, what's going on? Like, are you hurting? Like, am I hurting you? Like, what's going on? So I pull out again. Like, I don't know how this supposed to go. So I'm like, boom, I'm doing something wrong. Obviously, you screaming, you hollering and stuff. So next thing I know, she was like, nah, it's cool. Do it again. So at this point, I'm getting mad. I'm like, no way. This is not gonna be like my first experience. It's not going like it's supposed to go. Mind you, I did watch a little porn, growing up and stuff, but I was prepped for the situation.
What?
Yeah, can you believe that?
So boom, my third time trying to put it in, and I said, fuck it. You feel me? Just in that hole. Now, mind you, she screamed. Like, she went. You feel me? Like, and I said, fuck it. And me being young, not knowing no better, I knew I heard it then. I knew I heard it. So, and that means, like, she grabbed onto me real tight, and I'm like, all right, cool. Like, I couldn't pull out at that point. So, yeah. And that's how it went, Now, mind you, I know nothing about what I'm doing.
I'm purely virgin.
And I'm assuming all of this is supposed to go and play. I'm in my head like I grew up on the assumption of foreplay. You feel me? Like, we got a kid, so it's real good stuff until we get into that. But it didn't go really like that. It was cool. I ain't really trip on that. But what I did trip about, the simple fact of my first time being the worst experience of my life, the worst, was because after that whole situation, the next day, it's this thing called the Bazaar, if I'm not mistaken. It was at, I want to say a Catholic church or school called St. Mary's or something of that nature. And they had this little festival, or whatever they call it, going on every year, called the Bazaar. Now, I never been, and that was something that they people always go to, whatever. So I'm like, all right, cool, bet. So I go with my partner to the thing. I did not tell him about what happened that night. I told him later on throughout the day after what had happened. So the situation that made my experience so worse and so as a 15-year-old, I'm like, dang, I know nothing about what just went down. I don't know if I did it good, did it bad, did it wrong, did it right. I just did it. So we go to the event, and she's older, so she leaves as soon as we get there. Goes off with her friends. Her friends are already there, bada boom, bada bang. I only know him. That's my partner. I only know him. So we went, got out the car, walked through the gates and everything, and as soon as I walked through the gate, all I hear was, oh, that's that nigga right there?
You're the guy from the poster, that guy.
I'm looking like, who they talking about? I'm looking at him like, yo, like, they talking about you or me? And like, they pointing at me, like her friends, and they pointing at me. So I'm like, all right, dang, like what's going on? So next thing I know, come to mind, I only know about what just happened that night. So I'm like, all right, cool. I'm assuming that's what they might be talking about. If they pointing at me, I'm not dumb, you know. So I'm like, put two and two together. Like I was just with you that night. Bada bang, your friends, they gossiping, bada bang, talking to them, you know, talking. And I'm like, alright, cool. So I'm walking up, they eyeing me down, looking at me a certain way, and like they started laughing at me and stuff. Like, I'm like, alright, cool. They laughing, they joking around, and the dudes that I guess her dude friends or whatever, they all looking at me in a little upset manner. So I'm like, alright, cool. In my eyes, I caught the dub.
Let's go. That's a double. That's E1.
Straight up. Because one, she was bad as fuck. And I felt like all the niggas around her wanted her. Now me being me, I'm like, shoot, I necessarily didn't want her, you feel me? Because I felt like I was out of her league anyway. You feel me? Or she was out of my league at that time. So I'm like, alright, cool, whatever. So boom. The dudes eyeing me down, looking at me all this type of ways and stuff. I'm like, dang, like I feel some type of way about it, but I'm like, I'm young, I don't really know what it is that's going on or what's about to happen. So I'm like, alright, cool, whatever. So next I know, the dudes walk up to me and they was like, oh, so you the one that you know did such and such. And I'm like, what are y'all talking about? And it was like, yeah, like she told us. I was like, okay, what's gonna happen now? Like, I don't know no better, so I'm assuming that they wanted to fight. But it didn't really go that way. I guess the dudes was jealous. In my eyes, I looked at it as jealousy. Growing up, I know that it was jealousy. Cause I'm like, shoot, like I'm a dude that don't really know her. Well, I know of her, but like I didn't mess with her in that way because she was older than me. So I'm like, we told her 2 different grades. She's already in high school. I'm just now going to high school. So I'm like, alright, cool, whatever. Next thing I know is the dude started cracking jokes about me, started talking about my clothes and stuff, and the baby just ranking on me like,
Bitch, you gotta wear prison sandals with your
roasting the fuck out of me, whatever. And I'm like, alright, cool, ha ha ha. Like my partner, he got mad, you know, he was in the gang, you know. So he started talking his shit, bada boom, bada bang.
Got him, G, I got him, chill, G. Who was y'all, G? Make it.
And like, yo, leave my bro alone, you know, shit like that. And one thing led to another. I walked away upset. I ain't gonna lie. I was highly upset. The high school kids joking on me. I ain't even in high school yet, and they all mad at me because I did her. And I'm like, alright, cool, whatever. So growing up, I'm like, yeah, like those dudes was definitely jealous that I hit a girl that they couldn't. Pretty much, simple as that. Like I didn't even try. Normally, when it comes down to it, I don't try. Like it just comes to me or it just happens by bang. So yeah, I'm like, alright, whatever. So, but that was back then, you know. Nowadays, I be chilling. But yeah, like dudes was mad jealous of me, bro. Like straight up. Like they was mad because I hit a girl that they couldn't. Pretty much. Like. And 9 times out of 10, the baddest females go for the chillest dudes. Like they don't, of course they want the money dudes, just like that. But 9 times out of 10, they really want the, you know, the chill, laid back, you know, out the way type dude. But hey, it comes that way sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes. But yeah, like that's crazy. Like I ain't never seen jealousy so tough. But I'm just saying, you know, like that shit was crazy. Like I'll never ever in life say that I've had the best experience. But let me tell y'all about my one night stand.
I love you, boy. You keep God in your life, fucking nigga.